Good evening. I'll now call the City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting for Tuesday, February the 9th to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Berg.
Here.
Gallops.
Here.
Holst.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Schoblum.
Here.
And Mayor Robinson.
Here. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first City Council meeting of the month. This one's rescheduled from last week with a snowstorm, and for safety concerns, we thought it best to cancel it and let Public Works get the streets, keep everybody off the streets, let Public Works get the streets clean, and they did a good job of doing that. So thank you to Public Works for a great job during that last snowstorm. This time the chair will take a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Merle, second by Rod to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. This time, move to public input, and this time I'm going to have Commissioner Brad Anderson come to the mic. Commissioner Anderson's our district commissioner from Goodhue County, and welcome, Brad.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to get here. I don't get to your meetings quite often enough, but I'm here just to bring you up to speed on a couple of issues. One, we had a Parks Board meeting this afternoon, and as all of you are probably aware, we had put out an RFP to sell and develop the Gowdy property out there by the lake for a campground, and we had no takers, which in my mind was a good thing. Now I think we're going to push for getting that into the master planning stage to do a new master plan on there. There's nothing been done for master planning since 1994 on that park system. So hopefully we'll get into that. Dakota County at the same time is doing master planning on their side for their park system. They do it on a 10-year rotation. Every 10 years they do it. So we're hoping to work those two together, and so that they're a coordinated park that, you know, one complements the other, and hopefully we'll be able to work through that and get that done. Another issue, the County 24 project, to extend the road around Cannon Falls to the east there. They're in the process of doing land acquisition now for that and acquiring the property. Hopefully we'll get that done here shortly so that we can get in there and cut some of the trees out of there, because of there's a new requirement as far as cutting mature trees in the summertime. You either have to get it done before April 1st, I think, is the date, or you'll have to wait till next year. So hopefully we can get that done. I'm not making any promises, though, that we can get that far. If we don't, we've got another project we'll insert and do, and then come back to that one after we've cut the trees next winter. But I sure hope we can get it done this year. And I don't know if Rod or Merle would report on the trail, but I was just at a trail meeting recently. A couple of good things are happening there. The trail got a gift of $50,000 from Jim Grantman, who used to own the Coca-Cola bottling in Red Wing, which is huge. You know, we could use that money for a lot of different things. It could be used for match money to go after grants, or it could be used for building another wayside rest along there, or I mean, there's just a lot of things, and that's just a huge thing, and I thank the Grantman family for doing that. The other part with that is they applied for a grant for doing master planning on the trail, which hasn't been done in quite a few years too. And at first they were told, no, you probably don't have a good chance of getting it. They applied anyway. Scott applied anyway, and they did get the grant to do the master planning, which was like another $35,000 or $40,000, which is a huge deal. But beyond that, the State Parks and Trails Commission is going to use that. They're going to work with us on doing that master plan, and they're going to use that as the model for other entities applying for master plans and doing the work. So they're going to help us and coordinate some of that, which is also good for the trail to be recognized that they're that regionally significant and that they're going to use our trail as a model. A couple other things where, legislature's going into session, we all cringe, but that's what happens this time of year, and we have some issues with transportation that we'll be dealing with, and Mayor Robinson is our liaison between us and the legislature. We have some meetings set up there for that. We have I have a couple transportation meetings that I'm going to in the next couple of weeks, and actually there's probably 3 of them up there with different entities that deal with that. A couple other issues we need to work on is some stuff with the Health and Human Services to get some language straightened out in some issues with that, and the auditor treasurer has some other issues that we need to work on. So those are a few of the things that we're working on the county end. I'm always open, always willing to listen, always want your input, and look forward to getting that and carrying it forward. One of the things that I, hold near and dear to my heart that I kind of campaigned on was long-range planning, and in our board workshop, that was one of the things I stressed is we need to do a better job of long-range planning for the county's workforce, for buildings, for asset management, for roads, for the whole 9 yards. We just got to do a better job because we're going to have to make dollars stretch farther, and the only way to do that is to plan so that you spend the money wisely so that it's an advantage when you get 2 or 3 more years down the road. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I've been working on. Got any questions?
If there's no questions, Brad, thanks for coming in tonight. We really appreciate it, and you're doing a great job up there already in first term there, and first year of.
Well, one of the township officers at one of my first, I'd been to 4 county board meetings, and I was at an annual meeting for one of the townships, and one of the guys asked me, "So what do you think of term limits?" I said, "Let me get a year in first."
Thanks, Brad. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the council this evening under public input? If not, we will move on to item 6, which is the public hearing for Resolution 2182, certifying unpaid utility charges to collect with taxes. And
Thank you, Mayor. We are going to be holding the public hearing tonight for the certification of unpaid utility bills. So this is the quarterly function that we do with this, and so this would be the opportunity to give them a chance to speak if they wish.
And I noticed that the amount is considerably down compared to quarters past, so really glad to see that with that. So at this time, the chair will open up the public hearing for unpaid utility charges. Is there anyone wishing to address the board under the public hearing for unpaid utility charges? Is there anyone wishing to address the council for unpaid utility charges? Is there anyone wishing to address the council for unpaid utility charges? If not, we'll close the public hearing at this time, and the chair will take a motion to adopt Resolution 2182, certifying unpaid utility charges to be collected with taxes.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Merle, second by Lynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to item 7 this evening, which is the consent agenda. Items on this area of the agenda may be adopted or they may be removed and placed on the business area of the agenda for discussion purposes before approving. For those at home, I will read the consent agenda to you. Item A is the just and correct claims for the accounting period ending December the 31st, 2015. Item B are the just and correct claims for the accounting period ending January 28th, 2016. Item C are the meeting minutes for the January 19th, 2016 City Council meeting. Item D, replace the variable frequency drive at Public Works. Item E, approve Minnesota Transportation Alliance membership. Item F, change meeting date of March 1st meeting. Item G, statutory tort limits. Item H, election of 2016 fire department officers. Item I, approve additional full-time paramedic. Item J, police lieutenant promotion. Item K, second reading and adoption of ordinance 344, amending chapter 111 of the Cannon Falls City Code concerning alcohol licensing and regulation. Item L, resolution 2183, approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids. And item M, approve school board use of council chambers. Are there any items anybody wishes to bring down?
I think I'd like to hear a little bit more on D.
Which one?
D, like David.
Okay. That will become item 8A, and that is the replace the variable frequency drive. Are there any other items? If not, Chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 7D.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Merle. Second by Rod. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us down to item 8A, which is the replace the variable frequency drive. And Kathy, do you have some questions on that?
Yeah, Tom, can you just go through that a little bit and is it in the budget?
No, it was a variable frequency drive that went out. We have 2 oxidation ditches at our plant. Each is controlled separately by a variable speed drive. One of them went down. We had to transfer the product to the other side, and it's just a replacement. Typical timeline is 10 years on a variable speed drive, and this would have been 14, 15 years.
Oh, wow.
It's just due to age.
And is that in our budget or?
No,
No, it's not in
we
the
have
budget?
an operating money that just for repairs like such that
Oh,
we
good.
take out of. Yep.
All right. That's all. Thanks.
Any further discussion? If not, the chair will take a motion to approve the replacement of the variable frequency drive.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
Motion by Merle, second by Kathy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All right, that will move us on to, that'll be item 9 now, which will be reports. Mr. Maroney.
I just make one comment with Commissioner Anderson here because I think it's pertinent to the city council as well. Is you all know that we've prepared lots of maps, lots of documents, lots of information for Planning Commission and Council on the various projects that I work on in my department. And I got to say that the GIS staff have been outstanding to work with and have prepared so many documents for us that we've used in grant applications, documents to you and others that I, for one, really appreciate that. And with Commissioner Anderson here, I'd like to thank him for that support. It's really been helpful.
Tom?
I would just like to assure council and the public, the mess you see in Flint, Michigan it's a mess. Can't say it any other way, but the state of Minnesota has been on the forefront of lead and copper testing since the mid-90s. And between the daily tests, the weekly tests, yearly tests, the Minnesota Department of Health, we test a lot of parameters of things that you wouldn't even consider in drinking water. So I just want to assure the public there's no fear with that. I will remind the public you should typically never drink hot water because it leaches lead and copper out quicker. And you shouldn't drink the first water tap in the morning. The first water draw should be a toilet flush because that water is sat in the piping all night and leached lead out of that. So it's a minor concern, but just something, especially with small children, babies, to be aware of. But other than that, I say the Minnesota Department of Health is on top of everything as are we to put out a good product and a safe product.
Thanks, Tom. Chief?
Well, if council will recall, Not too long ago, we swore in two officers, Officer Paul Larson and Nathan Tim. I'm pleased to let you know that both of them have completed their training and are now patrolling on their own. So we're getting close. We still have the most recent hire, Marcus, in training, but that should be wrapped up, I'm hoping, mid-April. So we're almost there. I see light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for the promotion of lieutenant tonight. We're due the badge pinning at the first council meeting in March, and that's a Wednesday now, the 2nd, if I remember right.
Yep.
So we'll see him then. So thank you very much.
I will just let you know of a few meetings that I've attended recently within the last couple of weeks. The Southeastern Minnesota League of Municipalities had a meeting on Wednesday, the 27th, I believe it was, in Byron. The afternoon session was actually pretty interesting. There were a couple different firms that talked about grant writing for infrastructure primarily. I haven't had a chance to talk to Dave Maroney about some of those programs that I became aware of, and then the CEDA, the CEDA, the Community Economic Development Agency, out of, where are they out of now? They're St. Charles, right? Huh? Chatfield, that's right, Chatfield, I'm sorry. Used to be Rushford. They also gave a presentation, and the evening presentations were legislators, and Senator Schmidt discussed the Southeastern Minnesota, or Southeast Minnesota health insurance premium inequality, and the general membership of the group did pass a policy for legislature to consider, which was related to the inequality of the Southeast Minnesota premiums, the health insurance premiums. The real informative day, afternoon and evening. Last Thursday, attended a meeting in Red Wing. Senator Schmidt hosted it. Commissioner of Management and Budget Myron Franz gave a presentation on the kind of the economics of Minnesota, state of Minnesota. It's really interesting, and I don't know if the mayor will comment on it also, but talked about the bonding coming up, area projects, encouraged us to jump on board with some of our stuff, which we will, and just basically a lot of the infrastructure that the water appropriations or the push that Governor Dayton is going to be doing this legislature with the $220 million of water quality infrastructure improvements that he's going to be proposing. We met with Senator Schmidt yesterday, Dave Maroney, Mayor Robinson, and I, talking about some of those legislative issues that we want him to look at this year. And tomorrow, or Thursday morning, I'll be going to the Hiawatha Land Transit Authority meeting. I don't think we've had somebody there for quite some time, but I'll be going at Sinzambroda at 8:30. So I will be attending that, see what's going on with that group. And Friday, we're meeting with George Eilertson, our bond counsel, to talk about the West Side 2 project and perhaps something else that we'll be talking about later tonight. That's all.
Thanks, Ron. Linnell, welcome back. Okay. Merle?
Nothing.
Rod? Nothing. Lynn?
Nothing.
Kathy?
Well, I went to a really fun meeting, and it was through the league. And an interesting speaker was there. His name was Peter, but his last name's pretty long. But anyway, it's how to make our city more fun. And so I did take some pictures of some ideas that I'd like to share with everybody, and some ideas to make our city more fun when people come, like if they go bike riding or if they just come to visit and things like that. He had a lot of good ideas, and he's going to be in our the next meeting in the conference, June or July? June. And he'll be there then sharing some ideas too. But one thing I did like, well, there was quite a few things that I did like, that made it more interesting, where people would talk about your city and bring back to their friends so that they would want to come to our city too. But we're on the right track. So, anyway, I'll share those at another time.
Okay.
Nothing.
And I have nothing this evening. At this time, the chair will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.